In Zagreb, Zeljko MAVROVIC, nicknamed the Iroquois, is a former heavyweight boxer. Everyone knows him. For 3 years he was European champion, then world #1 Lennox Lewis took him out, but only just. Now retired from the ring, MAVROVIC champions eco-friendly food. He's a businessman with high hopes for the opportunities joining the European Union will bring his country, Croatia.
People in Croatia think getting into Europe will give them a better job, a better quality of life. I also think accession to the European Union will bring us more possibilities than we have today in Croatia. How long will it take? Probably several years. Enough time for Croatia to adapt before it joins Europe. Then, when we become a full member, we'll still have to get used to totally new European ways of doing things.
Croatia's income today is similar to Poland's. Since the end of the war, splitting Croatia off from Yugoslavia in 1995, per-person GDP has doubled. It's come with a steady transition to a market economy, almost complete. The state still dominates in some sectors. Goran SARAVANJA is an analyst with one of the country's biggest banks. He's also betting Europe will keep on encouraging the Croatian economy's evolution.
Without this story of Croatia joining the EU and becoming a candidate country, we certainly would not have seen the amount of investment that we've seen since 2000 in infrastructure, in various privatization activities, in greenfield activity. EU accession is a key aspect of all of this investment that we've seen in Croatia, and I think definitely we've seen an improvement in living standards.
These improvements have come with a gradual return to stability. There's a less fervent nationalism. Minority rights are enshrined in the constitution. Those displaced by war have been able to come back, mostly Serbs. 7 out of 10 people in Krnjak, south of Zagreb, are Serbs. The Croatian army chased them out in 1995. Now the town is bilingual. Its dual ethnicity is reflected in the municipal council. The mayor is a Serb. He says the communities get along in harmony now.
Here in Krnjak, the laws on restitution of property were properly applied. In the last 3 years, all the displaced people and refugees have been rehoused. That way, they've been able to start a new life. Everything has settled down, as much for the Croats who fled from Bosnia or Kosovo, as for the Serbs who have come home. It's not easy for anyone, since the region was devastated in the war, but the living conditions are the same for the two communities, equal treatment.
Minority representation is applied in the national parliament also. Less than 5% of the population is Serb, but they have 3 seats reserved for them in parliament, as well as a place in the governing coalition. Zagreb's official recognition of an independent Kosovo recently upset that apparent balance, stirring the old demons of discord. Days before the recognition, Serb MP Milorad PUPOVAC said it was still up to Croatia to play a central role in keeping the fragile peace in the Balkans.
There are still open wounds, and if you are going to put a salt on that in a moment very delicate for Serbia and for the Serbs, Croatia can lose its capacity of the leading country in the region for the Europeization of this region. So my suggestion, because of the European prospect of this region, because of the preservation of the achieved inter-ethnic relations, that Croatia has to wait. And in the meantime, develop channels of communication toward Pristina and Belgrade.
Another shadow crossed the country's path recently. Anti-Gotovina came up for trial in The Hague. The general's arrest on charges of war crimes was one of the preconditions for Croatia's EU membership negotiations to begin in 2005. The problem is a lot of Croatians love him. He's a national hero to them, though he is accused of mass murder of unarmed Serb civilians. Zagreb has been sorely criticized in the EU as passive in its support of the War Crimes Tribunal, but the Justice Minister rejects this.
The Croatian parliament adopted a declaration which said it wished to and must cooperate fully with the International Penal Tribunal in The Hague. But it's very important to place things in their historic context. Croatia was attacked during the war. It had to defend itself. This explains Croatians' feelings in the Gotovina case.
Eurodeputee Jelko Kacin of Slovenia, current EU presiding nation and like Croatia a former Yugoslav republic, suggests Zagreb lacks political courage.
The basic question in Croatia is a question of leadership. Is Prime Minister a leader who is leading somewhere, or is he a follower who is following the public opinion and would like to flirt, with the public opinion? Croatia and Croat leadership will have to respond on that dilemma. Are they Western Balkan state or a Central European state?
Croatian public opinion in favour of EU membership started out strong, but now only 52% of the people support the entry process. But the head of the parliamentary group in charge of the negotiations, Vesna PUSIC, says this is in line with previous candidates' experience.
I expect the opinion polls to go up again when we have the referendum, because we will have a referendum on Croatia's joining the European Union. And in all the East European or Central European countries that had such a referendum, you had the same change in public opinion. First, very high support, then drop in support during negotiations, and then at the end, relatively low turnout and high support.
So, Euroscepticism is not expected to slow down the accession process. Joining the EU is still seen by a significant portion of the country as a guarantee of a better life. And yet, according to human rights specialist Zarko Puhovski, the bloc's recent enlargements and promises Brussels has made to Serbia have contributed to an erosion of credibility.
We have now 6 members of European Union with per capita production lower than Croatia. We have Baltic states with worse minority legislation than Croatia. We have Cyprus, which is more deeply divided than Bosnia and Herzegovina, and they're all members of European Union. We have extremely stupid Greek nationalists within European Union, worse than in any other part of Balkans, not even letting Macedonia to use a name of the state, and it's part of European Union.
In a snapshot, to finish its accession talks with the EU by mid-2009 as planned, Croatia will have to fight corruption more, revamp its courts and administration, cut subsidies and reform health, pension and tax systems, all in the next 15 months.